It's Adrian Perez, and today, or in this video, we're going to be going over Carretera de Ensenada. And so I have here the guitarrón sheet music, as well as the armonía sheet music. So right off the bat, looking at it from left to right, top to down, top to bottom, it's in 3 sharps, which indicates that it's in the key of A. It's in a 3/4 time signature. And as far as the mapping goes, starts in the beginning. There's the front half of a repeat, which means there's somewhere going to be its counterpart, right? The reverse repeat to bring it back to that first measure. So starts off in 3/4, goes for 2 measures, changes to 2/4, then to 3/4 again, then to 2/4. Kind of does the entrada twice, right? Goes all the way through. The voice usually starts at rehearsal mark A, which is 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, measure 41. You play all the way through to rehearsal mark B. Keeps going all the way through. Pretty standard bass lines, nothing too crazy. Cajon, right? What they call cajon, standard bass lines. There is actually a G natural in measure 69. Right? You have in measure 68, you have D, B, A, G natural, F sharp, E, D. Oh, boom, boom. Yeah, it's a bajada, right? So what happens is the key kind of changes temporarily while you're in the D chord, which means there's no G sharp. Keep going straight all the way through. Take the first ending, and that's the back end of the repeat that I was talking about earlier. So that'll take you back up to the top. You do the same thing all the way through, all the time changes. Rehearsal mark A, rehearsal mark B. And then on measure 80, 1, 2, 3, 4, measure 84, you're going to jump those 2 measures that are under the first ending. You're going to skip those, and you're going to jump over to the second ending. And that should be the classic tan tan ending, right? So rancheras, I think the thing about rancheras for me is that I approach them in a way that I don't want to. A lot of the times the melodies and the intros are very catchy, right? They're in a way they're iconic, you could say. So you don't want to mess around too much with them. What I'll tend to do is I will either play exactly what they're playing, or not play anything at all to not, crash against the melodies or the harmonies. Starting off right off the bat. So 1, 2, 3. So I think for me that's pretty classic to start off with a harp. Glissando, big glissando at the beginning, just because it kind of it gives you that nice, energetic beginning, right? Which I'm sure a lot of your teachers talk to you about. You don't want the one of the notes that you don't want to mess up is the first notes whenever you're playing as a group, right? Because everybody's gonna judge you right off the bat from the first couple of notes. So same with this, right? If you bring some energy, right, to the song, a good way to do it is in the gliss, right? And so if you're not familiar with the gliss technique, it's not just, in reality they're timed, right? So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, right? So I'm landing right, everything's measured. The other thing with the technique too is, the way I like to think about it is, you go down. If you're gonna go down, you go down with a thumb, and if you have thumbnail, even better, right? And you don't want to break in the gliss. Right? You don't want. You want it to be one continuous cycle. And so what that is like is, you kind of go down with your thumb, And as if you're finishing your gliss, you start stretching out your first finger, your index, right? So that you can catch it on the way back up. And the way I like to visualize it is like the Nike swoosh sign, right? As your thumb's going down, and then you catch the end of the swoosh, right? On the tip where the little curvy part is. So you're going down and then whoop, like a check mark, right? And the same thing, right? You don't want less pressure, you don't want more pressure, you want the same amount of pressure so that it sounds even. Right? You don't want to do. Yeah, so there's a little bit of technique on that, kind of what I like to do. The other thing is what else? It's pretty standard cajon. The bass dictates what the armonía is doing, and there's what's called like pasadas. So like for example, you'll see on measure 45, you have the A, right, classic. You have the classic A half note with the quarter note. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and that'll kind of tell you to switch chords. And like I said, for beginning style, I mean it's good to just kind of just go through the chords with the corresponding bass. You don't want to be playing the same thing that the rhythm is playing, right? You don't want to playing on the 2 and 3 all the time. It's good for learning, but it's not. It tires out people's ears when they just hear boom, ring, ring, boom, because it's like out of range. It's a really high. A lot of people tend to play it at a higher range than what the guitar's at or the vihuela's at, and it kind of sticks out. So I would be careful not to always play that, right? So like other songs, just be tasteful. Be mindful of the fact that there is trumpet parts going on, there's violin parts, there's vocal parts, and in a way, less is more, right? You want to figure out where those pockets of adornos are and kind of live in between those, because, like I said in the previous videos, you have to contribute to the group, right? So for you to contribute to the group means you're not, the only things you're playing is not exactly what everybody else is playing. You have your own parts, right? So it's kind of finding the gaps, those huecos, right, in the music. So kind of you can do some like adornos, right? Going back to that. So involved in those kind of techniques are subidas, right? There's a lot of tremolo, right? And really it's just an ascending arpeggio. It's really fast. Something to build up on those techniques, right? The other one is you can do is it's a first inversion with you have your ring finger and your thumb playing on the root of the chord. Right? But for like rancheras and sones and more traditional stuff, I like to stick with the bass, right? As far as the harp goes, you should be playing what the guitarrón is playing. If you hear old Vargas recordings from the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, probably some of the 80s stuff too. Arturo Mendoza was their harp player, and he was known as a powerhouse guitarrón or bass player, right? So a lot of that, really punchy sound that Vargas had back then was because of Arturo Mendoza, and it was the combination of the harp and the guitarrón. So, he was really emphasizing the fact that those two had to play together, and when you hear it, it's a very special sound, and I think it's important to maintain that that style and that sound for traditional song forms, which is, polkas, sones, rancheras, you know, corridos, things like that, right? Joropo is another stuff you can kind of get out of the box and play around with different things where your left hand is doing more harmonization or crazy things, right? But in this case, you know, it's really nice. It's a really nice full sound because the guitarrón parts are not too busy, right? They're just really the foundation of the song, right? So yeah, I'm just gonna do a quick read through of the bass part. Carretera de Let her be. Bum, 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 second ending. Bum, 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 bum. All right. So if you notice on, let's see, measure 69 and measure, yeah, just 69. I skipped the G, right? The G natural. So going off of, let's see, rehearsal B. Preparación to tercera. If I stay with the G sharp, I'm in the wrong key, right? You hear that? It's wrong, right? Because technically what happens is, as you're doing preparación, you're doing A, A7 to D, you switch keys to D for like those couple of measures, and so the G sharp goes away. So what it should be like, sound like is, right? That's what it is. But most times you're not going to be fast enough to catch the G sharp and bring it down. So what I tend to do is just skip it in a kind of subtle way, you know, and so you can get around it that way. Something like that. So that's something you can have fun with, and you know, just attempt to take it out, and you can play along with the trumpets or the violins, and it'll give you something to shoot for, right? As you're developing as a harp player and figuring out ways to contribute to your group. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you.